Salute. Hey, look, check this out. She got M.E. Drip. We back at it again with another conversation with Drip. So this time I want to talk about the W-2 versus the 1099, right? I know it's a random topic, but I met this guy earlier. Him and his wife, we had lunch and basically sat down because they asked me what's the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. And I gave them some pointers on the difference between both and how they can go about it. So in a way, they inspired me to create this content because again, it's just conversation. So I wanted to have a conversation. So wherever there's one that wants to know, there's many. So in this situation, I'm pretty sure people who's watching this, they don't want to know the difference. So not gonna hold y'all long. I'm finna get into it. Let's get to it. All right. So first we're gonna start off with the W-2, right? The W-2 form is used by employers to report wages to their employees, aka boss or leader, and subordinates slash worker bees. It is used for individuals who are considered employees and receive a regular salary or hourly wage from their employer. That's one. Two, employers withhold income taxes, social security taxes, Medicare taxes from their employees' paycheck and report these withholdings on the W-2 form. So basically what that means is, for those who don't know, when it comes to the taxes, it comes out your check before you even get your check. So you ain't got to worry about paying it yourself. And also the employer is responsible for issuing the W-2 form to the employee. And the employees who receive a W-2 form are considered to be employees of the company and are eligible for benefits such as health insurance, retirement plans, paid time off, and it's just the basics. Sometimes they're known as employee benefits package. So it could be that. Also, they could give them stocks in a company. Uh, Also, they could get bonuses as far as if you complete 30 days, we'll give you extra $1,000. There's all types of incentives they could throw in there as well. Sometimes, depending on who you work for, the incentives could be sweet. Like I seen somebody when they register for the company to work under them. I know Chick-fil-A does is they do an onboarding process where they bring them in, they show them how the food is made, and then they have a large gathering and a get together, and they eat some of the food for free, and they ain't got to worry about paying for it. So it's all types of incentives in the employee benefit package that you could throw in there, right? Now I'm gonna get into the 1099 form, right? So 1099 form is used to report income received by individuals who are not employees. These are your independent contractors, your freelancers, and self-employed individuals. So these are the ones who work for the government or they on a government contract solo or they on Fiverr, they do independent work, or your Door Dashers and Ubers and stuff like that. Or in some countries, you got Bolt. This is another version of Uber. Anything that's not under an employee, it is independent work. So this form is used for individuals who are paid on a contract basis or receive income from other sources rather than in traditional employment, such as they receive a check on the 1st and 15th. They may receive their check on the 2nd and 13th, or they may just receive it on the 20th because they basically quote unquote eat what they kill. And then unlike W-2 employees, those who receive a 1099 form, right, they have to pay their own income taxes, social security taxes, and Medicare taxes. Unlike the W-2, it automatically come out. But the 1099, they give you money you're responsible for paying all the taxes. And then also with the 1099, you're not really considered an employee and you don't get the EBP, employee benefits package, because again, you freelance and you're not part of the company. They looking at it like they gave you the money and it's up to you to do uh, what you want with it. Now, far as the W-2 on the other hand, they look at it like, okay, you want us to manage, because some people want to manage and some people want to be managed. The W-2 is the be managed. So they're like, okay, I'll work for you, but I don't want to be responsible for the taxes. I'd rather have y'all manage the money for me, depending on the person. And then with the W-2 form, right? So you know what the W-2 form look like: employee's name, social security number, and total wages earned. Uh, and it includes all the taxes that's been taken out, and the employers are required to send a W-2 form to the Social Security Administration because again they pay taxes to the Social Security. So in order for the Social Security office to keep track of it, they make the employers be responsible for sending that money, or not the money, but the W-2 form out to them. And also, employees use this information on the W-2 form to file the individual tax returns to the IRS. So again, same thing. IRS making the employee or employer's responsibility to send them the form so they can keep track of it. Also, for the 1099 form, right? Basically, it's used to report various types of income: freelance earnings, rental income, and self-employment income, which I already went over that. And then to get it more specific, there's different types of 1099 forms. You got your uh, miscellaneous income for 1099, and then you got your interest income 1099, and then you got your dividend income for 1099. And just like the W-2 form, it does have the social security number that have to be reported on it. For the 1099, you can have the option to put your either social security number, your tax identification number, or your EIN, meaning your number. Business number, like the EIN, employee identification number, is basically like the business social security. And then the payer is responsible for sending a copy, right? So that means you are responsible for sending your copy of the 1099 form to the Social Security office and the IRS office, or wherever it needs to go. Also, right, so I'm gonna give you the advantages of the W-2 form, right? So you have the employee benefits. W-2 employees are typically they eligible for certain benefits such as health insurance, retirement plans, paid time off, and other employee perks. They have tax withholding, so the company is responsible for making sure the employees' taxes are paid, and then the W-2 employees are protected by employee laws. I think the employee laws, y'all go look it up, is basically HIPAA laws. So they have laws where protect them so they won't get taken advantage of. You have HIPAA laws, and you got human rights laws. So sometimes within the laws, it could come with a minimum wage that they can't get paid no less than, or overtime pay, or anti-discrimination laws. So that's what comes with having the HIPAA law and the human rights law protecting you. And then the last one is when you have the W-2, you can have a little more stability and predictability because you receive a regular salary, hourly wage out the month. So you know more what you get. It's just that simple. But on the other hand, with the 1099 form, right, their advantages is you get the flexibility, independence. So you could create your own work hours, your own schedule, and you set your own rates. And then you have a potential on the 1099 side to have higher earning income because by you being independent, you're not dependent on them to manage your money, if that makes sense. When I mean manage your money, they talk about managing your tax money. So now they're like, okay, we don't have to manage your tax money. So there's more bargaining power on your side of the court because you're not paying them or they're not taking less money out just to manage your money. You're the one who's responsible for managing your money. And then also the other thing with the 1099 is you get business corporate structure, right? So you get those you can get deductions for your work, your office supplies, equipment, travel expenses, professional development, lunch, or business lunches, and it can help reduce your taxes because you spent it on stuff that can help benefit your business. And also with the 1099, you have more entrepreneurial opportunities. So you can build your own, you have much more freedom to build your own brand compared to a W-2, right? You may not necessarily have the flexibility to build your own brand as far as working your own hours and stuff like that. So that's just my take. That's just my perspective on this conversation, man. This video ain't gonna be super long, but I do want to tell you this: it all depends on the person. So y'all may ask me which one is better. For me, I have my own personal opinion on it. But again, everybody's different. There's people who wants to be managed, and you wants the people, and there's people who wants to manage. So it all depends on your situation. And who's to say? I'm gonna put y'all on game real quick. Who's to say you can't do both sides? There's some people, especially me personally, I know that have worked the W-2 side and they walked out. They got 3 retirement checks, uh, stocks within a company. They came out pretty successful. And these people I know on the 1099 side, they came out pretty successful. Also, like I said, you can do both. So You could start out working for a company, right, for that position, and then you can learn the game for X amount of years, and then basically you don't necessarily quit. You get your business set up, and then you go to 1099 route where you can be an independent contractor, and it may actually be better because that's less expenses they gotta spend on you. Because if you in the office, right, there's office expenses that you got to take into account with that. So especially if you got a position where you can work remotely, then this is even more beneficial to the company because they can cut back on costs. So you can work both sides. Start out on the W-2, then go to 1099 route, or you can do both. There are some people who work a job and then turn around. What they do both. They work the job and then they do the same position for another company, but they uh, a 1099 independent contractor. So it's various different ways that you can play it. And the reason why some of them do that is because the EBP, the Employee Benefits Package, they figured if they could get that position and then do independent work, they get the money plus they get the independent package, or not independent, but the Employee Benefits Package where they get their health care, their retirement plan, and stuff like that. So you got some people who want to play both sides. They want to do managing for certain things and then turn around they want to be managed for certain things. So they leverage both sides. So again, it all depends on how you want to play it. But at the same time, you got to understand the stuff that come with it. Even though I gave you generalized information about it, but you got to think about there is stuff that comes with each side, right? What advantages and disadvantages. So you got to understand your industry that you're in, as far as the culture. Then you got to understand the hours that you may put in because it may sound good in theory, but instead of you working 40 hours, you play on both sides, you spend it 80 hours. So understand your industry and understand the laws, the HIPAA laws, the human rights laws, and understand each form. And then the last piece to that is you need to have your end goal, your exit strategy. Because whatever your exit strategy is, it'll dictate how you move. So you're not just you're not effortlessly aiming to get in different positions just because they throw a certain benefits package for you. Hey, but that's it, man. I just want to, that's another perspective. I got another conversation with Drip. Again, I ain't gonna hold y'all long. Sorry for all the coughing again. Uh, I'm getting sick. But however, we finna keep rolling these videos out. It ain't gonna stop me. It ain't gonna slow me down. Again, I'm gonna keep giving y'all bangers on top of bangers on top of bangers. Even if I am sick, I'm gonna push through it. So again, that's my way of motivating y'all. This is my treat for y'all, putting y'all up on game. So this what keeps me motivated, being able to pull up on game, being able to motivate y'all. Hey, that's all I got. In the meantime, I want y'all to hit that like button in the comment section. Run y'all mouth much as possible. Share this video with as many people as possible. Hit that subscribe button. Until then, till next time, I want y'all to tap in, lock in, tune in. It's Drip. Yeah. Uh-huh.